Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Minority Reports podcast and digital series. I am your host, Mona Sheikh. You guys, apologies for the delay because there are some technical difficulties because we have an international guest, and when you deal with international guests, sometimes we run into technical issues. Sometimes when you even have domestic guests, you run into issues, let alone international. So my international guest is amazing. I've had her on my comedy show before. She's a fellow Pakistani. She's a fellow female comic. She is wonderful. She's hilarious. And I'm so happy and actually very proud to have her on the podcast. Here's my very talented friend, Natalia Gul. How are you?
Hi, Mona. How are you? I'm good.
I'm yeah. Oh, there you are.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. It's great talking to you after a whole year.
Yeah, I know. Natalia, can you believe this? It's been a whole friggin' year. That was the last time we did a show together. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, the sad part is we were in lockdown at that time and we still are.
That is so sad. Natalia, you are in Lahore, correct? Or Karachi?
Karachi.
You're in Karachi, which is my birth city. I was born and raised in Karachi. I moved when I was...
You were born cool then.
I was born what?
Cool.
Cool? That's very kind of you. That's not how my family thought of me, but that's very kind of you. But you're in Karachi. What? You just said that the city is still... Is the whole country in lockdown? Or is it just Karachi that is in lockdown?
The entire country is in lockdown. Actually, things haven't really gotten better. Even though we are getting vaccinated and now they're even vaccinated 18 above. But still things are bad because we had Eid. So a lot of people met during that time. So the spike went up. It's very tricky. UK is going in lockdown again. So, we don't know what's going on.
Have you been vaccinated?
Not yet. I haven't received my code. I don't know if you had the same thing, but we're supposed to email our NIC number and we're getting a code. So that's how we get an appointment at a vaccination center.
Got it. So what kind of vaccination is it? Is it Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson? What do you guys have?
Man, I wish we were that lucky or to get that. But no, it's a third world country. You can see by my internet reception. We're actually we're getting the Sputnik and the Sinovac and Sinopharm.
Sputnik, that's the Russian one.
Yeah, even though Russian themselves are not getting vaccinated because they don't think these vaccinations are trustworthy. But a lot of people did get vaccinated in Pakistan with this, but I think we've run out of it. The only ones available are the Sinopharm and Sinovac now.
So, and those are what, Chinese?
Yeah.
And did the local Chinese folks get vaccinated with those vaccinations?
So, it's interesting. I was just looking it up yesterday because I have all these theories in my head. I just watched this movie on Netflix, Dead to Me, or The City of the Dead, Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, yeah.
And I was like, what if we turn into zombies once we get vaccinated? So I have all these theories going on in my head.
What if we turn to zombies? I think some people here are already zombies. I think the vaccination would probably do them good rather than do them bad. See, Natalia, it's so fascinating, right? Here you are telling me that you're like, oh, look, I wish we were fortunate enough to have Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer. We have a bunch of what we call in Urdu chutias in America who refuse to get vaccinated. They refuse to get your Johnson & Johnson, your Moderna, your Pfizer. They don't want to get it. They're like, what's in it? I don't know what's in it. You know what? You fucking eat street food and hot dogs from the street. Don't worry about it. Just take the goddamn vaccination, right? And you are in Pakistan and you're like, yo, I wish I could get those vaccinations. So, this is why I have these conversations, because to give people fucking perspective.
I mean, because with these the effectiveness is really low compared to Moderna or Pfizer. So people who are getting vaccinated with these vaccines, it's not working because there's a surge of infections happening again. So we do need good ones. We do need the one which acts on the messenger RNA, which is the Pfizer and Moderna one.
That's correct. I got Johnson & Johnson. So I only had a little bit of headache and I was fine. But Johnson & Johnson, I think, is about, they said about 90% effective.
Yes.
So what's the effective rate of these vaccines that are in Pakistan right now?
I think the Sinovac is 67%. Sinopharm is better. It is still around 70 to 80. Sputnik, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
But
I'm not so sure about it. I think it's just vodka being inserted in your arm.
I mean, Sputnik was the first satellite that Russians sent into space. So I
That's
don't know
correct.
what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and you're gonna name the drug that too? That's like you take it and then you leave the planet. I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be a fun trip too. I mean,
Yeah,
getting
that's
out of
very fun. You're not coming back. Tell you that much. If you're taking a trip on Smutnik, there's no fucking way you're coming back. Man, I am. I am really scared for everyone. I mean, we just had a news yesterday. I forgot. I think it was Dr. Fauci, who's our head of disease here. He's our head dude here that Trump hated and everybody else loves. But he came out and said, that. It would be in America's best interest to get the rest of the world vaccinated. Like, look, America has more than enough resources to
yeah,
ship over Johnson and Johnson. Moderna and Pfizer are tricky because they have to be like something like 60 below in temperature, and the
yeah,
refrigeration for it, that's just a lot. But Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca also very effective. Room temperature. You can keep them room temperature. You can jab people, one jab, you're done, right?
yeah.
So I really believe that America should really step its game up, and we really need to help get India vaccinated. We need to get Pakistan get vaccinated. I mean, Natalia, do you have friends in India that are people who travel from India and Pakistan, and like, are there cases coming from India to Pakistan, or have you heard anything like that?
I mean, unfortunately, the things haven't been really great with the between India and Pakistan. So the traveling is not that easy. I mean, we never get a visa. So we don't have a lot of traveling happening between these two countries anyway. But I don't know. I don't have anybody who travels back and forth. And so far, we don't have any Indian variant. We do have the UK variant. We don't yet have the Indian variant. So
Well,
let's
India has this new thing called the black fungus. Have you heard of this?
yes. Yeah. Mucormycosis.
I don't even know I mean,
Yeah.
it's just what is happening in India is so heartbreaking. Like, you're watching people die. I think because Modi really just not a good leader at all for Indians. He has just let the country. He's just let the virus run amok. I mean, it's really insane. Have your parents been vaccinated, Natalia?
Yes, my parents have been vaccinated. My mother-in-law just got vaccinated. You know what? I feel like if we had a different government and not PTI, if we had People's Party or if we had the Nawaz League taking care of the country during a pandemic, I think the situation would have been much worse. I mean,
Oh,
I feel the government is taking all kinds of precautions before things are going bad. They have
yes,
already prepared for this new variant, which is the Indian variant. They have figured out
yes.
that it's happening to people who are diabetic. So there's so many unrecognized cases of diabetes in Pakistan. So they've actually created an NGO to get people tested for diabetes. So strategizing is better in this government.
Yes.
We have gotten like 5 million doses of vaccine, which I feel wouldn't have been possible if it was People's Party or PMLN.
Can I ask you
I
something, Natalia? Is the vaccination free, or do you have to pay for it?
It's absolutely free, and we're so lucky that it's happening this way. And everything, like I took my mother-in-law to get vaccinated to Aga Khan, and everything was so smooth, and I was very impressed how things were taken care of. Um,
Well, Aga
you
Khan is the top-notch hospital.
Yes, but it was for free. Even in other local government hospitals, the things nobody really complained about anything going wrong. So I was really impressed that, okay, so the basic thing that they did was that they broadcasted messages for COVID updates on phones. So every time you call somebody, you would hear an alert about COVID. So that created a lot of awareness for the masses who do not have a TV, who do not even know sanitizers exist. They were drinking sanitizers initially. They thought it we have different issues. I mean, I probably they heard Trump that you drink sanitizer and
That's
that's
right.
cure for
That's right.
corona.
You drink Clorox, and it helps. Or you
Yes.
or you take UV ray light and shoot it up your ass, and that's how you get rid of COVID. And it's just like That's never worked. Like, who's shooting lights up their asses? Like, what the fuck? No, thank God. I mean, look, thank God we got Biden in place. So he's like, they just announced this week 50% of all U.S. adults have at least one shot of, vaccine, which is huge.
Yeah.
Pakistan is a very big population. Pakistan is about what, 200 million?
Yeah, exactly right. It's like 20 crore. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about 200 million. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you have 5 million people vaccinated, that's not even a dent. Like, that's not even, that's like a nothing.
The another issue is that a lot of people in Pakistan do not still have an ID card. We live in poverty. People are not registered. So that entire process, but because of pandemic, a lot of things have been because people they were government was offering money and funds. So a lot of people, because of that, they got registered. They got an NIC for the first time. Even now, they're registering Afghanis because a lot of Afghans they do not have an ID card in Pakistan. So things are
Right.
getting better. I see a good future for us finally.
Yes, yes.
I'm positive.
Yeah, Natalia, do they announce how many cases there are per week or per month or per day of deaths and COVID cases?
It's not too bad. This the spike has gone down. I really don't know today how many cases we were reported today, but I feel like the cases went up 2 days ago because a lot of people met during Eid. And we had rallies for Palestine as well, which I was really scared about because we had a huge rally for Palestine on Shara Faisal, and I was
Wow.
worried the COVID cases might go up. But so far things are okay. We're going down in the spike.
Were people wearing masks? Is it mandatory when you go out to wear masks in grocery stores and stuff?
Yes, it is mandatory, and these days we have another restrictions that we cannot leave the house after 8 p.m. So we're under a lockdown like that as well.
You guys are in a curfew. So when you say a lockdown, so only necessary stuff is open, like grocery stores and doctors and hospitals and things like that.
Yes. And it's so sad that we haven't been able to have the comedy open mics that we were having every Friday. And for us comedians, it was a great way to write and perform every Friday. We haven't performed since Ramzan because I was still having these comedy open mics in Ramzan. We had for it for 2 weeks. And then again, we
In
had
person? In person open mics?
Yes, things were better. Things are better. And again, during Ramzan, everything went back because a lot of people were having like game nights and people, you know how Karachiites are. We just need a reason to party. So in Ramzan, we had game nights and not just like 10 people. I saw a gathering of like 200 to 300 people.
See, that's not right.
Game night.
That's
Yeah.
not right. That's not
Yeah,
right.
exactly. People go overboard, you know.
That's not right. My friend James here is asking, are there any anti-vaxxers in Pakistan?
I'm pretty sure they are. Just today, I read this article in an Urdu newspaper that I don't know who the scientist is saying that people who are getting vaccinated are going to die in 2 years. So we do have people spreading all kind of But the good thing is, what I noticed is that my husband went for prayers on Friday, and that the Maulvi was actually telling people to get vaccinated.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
when a person higher in faith or somebody says comes from that means that people do listen, and that was surprise. You know
Right.
how with Maulvis.
Yeah, because the mullahs have a very big authority. They're very, their word holds a lot of power. I mean, that's wonderful that they're preaching that. Natalia, we have such an anti-vaxxer problem in America. I mean, we think that we have, uneducated people in third world countries. No. We have plenty of ignorant, uneducated people right here in the United States of America. They have a battle against vaccines, man.
I mean, if I feel like this with the student debt and everything, I don't think that a lot of Americans are going to college anymore. So
Yeah. It's not, you know what it is, not, Natalia? It's not even so much about the college educated. Even the educated people, there's a level of ignorance. कहते हैं ना, like, in Urdu we say, पढ़े लिखे जाहिल, like
Yes.
educated ignorance,
I
and
think that those kind of people are everywhere then.
yes, yeah, they're everywhere. It's regardless of color and culture and religion, they are everywhere. I mean, but I'm glad. It sounds like Imran Khan is doing a pretty good job at managing it, but maybe it's not moving it at the pace that it should.
Yeah, I mean, a lot happened when he came in power. So, he's just been just saving it. Our economy is getting better. There's a lot of investment. There are a lot of new ventures happening. So
Yeah.
things are moving for better. It's going to take a while. We're in recession. We're in debt. So, we gotta take. And then if we go in a lockdown, it does hurt an economy. So he's
Mhm.
dealing with so much, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Saudi Arabia was recently making a trip to Pakistan. Didn't they drop some checks?
Um, I don't know about, when actually Imran Khan was in Saudi and then he went
He
for
was in
Umrah.
Saudi. Yeah, yeah, he was in Saudi. Yeah, because they
Probably he
usually,
was.
yeah, they probably cut us a check, and then they're like, "Get the Sharia law going." All right, here you go. Here's a check. Get the Sharia law going. Keep it going.
So there's a new law in Sindh. It's so hilarious. Is that it's compulsory for parents to get their kids married when they turn 18,
Whoa!
or else they're gonna get fined.
What?
Insane! I don't know who filed it. Is it the kids who want to get married, or is it like parents are making it compulsory? I don't know.
I don't understand why the need to get married at 18.
Probably because they feel that our youth is dating these days. You know how it's a taboo in our culture.
Oh, the horror, Natalia, the horror of dating.
Right. It was in the news that a couple was kissing on an airline, and somebody complained, and the air hostess went and she gave them a blanket to
No,
cover it up.
no, no. This is in a Pakistani airline, or
It's a Pakistani airline.
the people who were complaining are the ones who could probably use laying a little bit more. If they just got laid, they wouldn't have
Oh yeah,
such needs to tell other people not to get laid. Like if you got laid, you'd be happy with that.
yeah. It's all that you're frustrated and you don't want to see others having some fun, basically.
That is insane. Natalia, I think the last time we did our show, were you married then or did you get married after?
No, I got married during a pandemic.
Oh my God, congrats! Did you date your husband before you guys got married?
Yes, thank God my parents are very woke.
I love
So
that.
we
I
dated.
love that. I love that. So,
And,
tell me what is that dating like what is dating like in Pakistan?
it's pretty chill. I tell you that they're both kind of like, when people from abroad see us, they think that we still stuck in that era. It's not that. People in Karachi, people like me, we dress up however we want to. We party, we drink, we date. But not everyone is like that. This must be just like 20% of Pakistanis
Sure, in Karachi.
in Karachi, especially,
Yes, yes.
who I can just call label as defense wale, ya burger awam,
Burger Awam. That's right. That's
elite
right.
awam, elite awam.
Right. And
Um,
for the people who don't know what is it that we're using, the terms we're using, defense is a very posh area in
yeah,
Karachi. Call it like kind of like the Beverly Hills of Karachi. And the folks who are there are very woke and very modern and Natalia, when you say you dress up, however, like you're talking about what, wearing shorts and mini dresses and tops, is that what you're talking?
no, we don't do that while we're going to market. But when we're partying, it's like a closed circle. It's a private event. Then we dress up.
Got it.
Um, so we don't have that kind of restriction, especially because I feel like my parents are woke. They've seen the world. We've lived in the US. So it's not like that for every Pakistani. So what were we talking about exactly?
We were talking about dating. You were telling me the dating
Yes.
process. Yeah.
So yeah, we dated for 2 years and then we got married just to make our relationship halal.
All right, can I ask you some personal questions? When you're dating, so dating in America or dating in the West is very different. When you date in America, you more than likely are getting laid. You're making out, you're doing all kinds of freaky shit, you're discovering a lot of, sexually what you like. Is it like that in Pakistan? Can two people
It
go and
is.
just get laid?
Yes, they do. Remember last time during my set, I was telling you I've seen women wear burqa and they have a whole guy inside the burqa
Oh,
at a park. Remember I was
that's
telling
right.
you that?
Yeah, that's right. You told me that. Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen people dating in parks. We've seen people dating in the mausoleum of Qaid-e-Azam, right next to his tomb. We've heard all kind of things. Everyone is doing it. The problem is just nobody wants to talk about it.
Right, right.
That's it.
Because it's a Muslim country, it's a Muslim nation, and we're so pious and we're so much better than those Western people. We're just so much better, and we have this direct connection with Allah. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Like,
Right.
people are people everywhere, Natalia. People are people. Human beings are human beings. Our needs are exactly the same. I don't care if they're white, black, brown, Asian. I don't give a fuck. Like, people are people. So when you were dating your husband, I mean, did you live by on your own and he lived on his own and you guys were going to each other's places, or what was that like?
So we both live with our parents. Like he lives with his mom. And actually, I was caught sneaking out. And that's how the mother found out about me. And she was like, "You better make this relationship halal. You can't do this in my house." And that's what happened.
Wow. You were sneaking out what, like a nighttime or daytime? What were you doing?
I mean, I would just, now we're married, so I can actually talk about it, right?
Sure.
Ab to koi nahi bol sakta.
Exactly. Nobody can say nothing now. Yeah.
So we were spending time. Like we would, on Saturday nights, I would stay with him. And on Sunday morning, I would try to sneak out. And I was caught one day sneaking out. And that's how she found about me. And it's so cute that she's like, when I was coming for the Rishta scene, she's like, she called him and she's like, make sure that she enters with the right foot. And she's like, Mom, you already know that she has been in this house. She's like, no, no, no. But her intentions were different back then. I'm like, yeah.
When you guys would travel, so I've heard some stories that sometimes some couples could be like either they're married or they're just dating and they're like by Clifton, which is a beach area, and by the ocean in the car making out, and then cops come and harass them and ask them for their marriage certificate. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it was a thing. I haven't really heard about it recently. Probably it still happens. I mean, because of this this airline incident. Yeah, that has been a thing that cops, especially at Phase 8 in defense and places like that, cops come and harass you.
So they just come and they're just like, show me your marriage certificate.
Yeah, I mean, public fornication is not even allowed in the US. But yeah, they would even catch people making out.
Yeah,
that's not even allowed.
Listen, you can't be naked in public here. You can't be fornicating in public. You can't be masturbating in public. Like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, those things are not.
I feel like even we don't even have a great culture where married couples show an affection in public.
That's
we
correct.
don't have anything like that because we
That's
haven't.
correct.
I mean, at least I have seen my dad do that because I come from a very different background. But people don't do that. They don't show affection.
Yes.
I don't know how people showing no affection still have like 12 kids. I don't understand.
Well, they just had sex 12 times. That's it. That's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, this is no affection, no love, no touching, no back rubs.
That is so sad. That is so sad.
Americans, I've seen like foreigners do that. They're always like touching their wife and,
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
rubs.
Yeah, PDA is very big. PDA is very big. Yeah. PDA is very big. Natalia, you've been a stand-up comic for how many years now?
2017.
Okay.
So
3-4 years. Okay.
yeah, 4 years.
What got you into stand-up? I mean, to be a Pakistani woman living in Pakistan doing stand-up comedy, first of all, kudos to you for doing it, because I know it's challenging in America, but holy shit, Pakistan has its own set of challenges to pursue a career like that. So first of all, what got you into comedy to begin with?
I was an actor since a child. I was taking part in all kind of plays. So I was just always a character in my house. I really didn't know who Natalia was. I would just absorb characters from my real life. I became a dentist because I really liked my uncle's daughter, who was really nice and was a dentist. And I went to the same university. I was like, I want to be just like her.
Yeah.
And I soon realized that wasn't the passion that I was looking for.
Sure.
So with dentistry, I was part of commercial theater plays. I did a lot of plays. And I just grew love for that. And then Faiza Salim, Faiza, who's
yes,
who started this South Asia's all girls comedy troupe. She saw me in one of the plays and she was like, come be part of this group. And I started improv with her.
Yeah.
So when a stand-up comedian saw me perform improv and, he pushed me that, you should become a stand-up comedian. I was like, I have always played a character. I don't know who I am. I don't know how to tell my story. I'm very shy. I'm an introvert as a person. But I'm on stage when I'm a different character. I'm a different person, you know. It's like, no, no, no. And he booked me a show with Junaid Akram, who's like a really renowned stand-up comedian. And under that pressure, I started writing and I just performed a show and I got paid for it and people liked it. And I was like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because did you do characters or did you write stand up?
No, I wrote stand up, and that's the stand up I wrote for the first time was being Sindhi because that's a part of my identity, and
Right.
all the things we see and find humor in it, and
Yeah.
then shit went out of the roof.
Yeah. I mean, stand up comedy has really picked up. I know in India it's picked up quite a bit in the past 10 years, but in Pakistan, you would say stand up comedy has really begun to really ramp up, what, in the last 5 years, 10 years? What are we looking at?
I mean, okay, I feel like it has been steady. It hasn't made a career for stand-up comedians yet that we leave our day job and rely on it completely. So we don't have
Okay.
a lot of opportunities like that. So I
Okay.
would still say that we're in a growing stage right now.
Got it. So you are, so even though you're a stand up comic, you still have, are you still a dentist?
No, no, no. I'm not a dentist. Actually, when this incident happened about me quitting stand-up comedy because I felt like I couldn't write anymore, that's the
Uh,
time that I created a platform called the Jungle for an artist where they find a safe space to talk about their art without being censored or shut down. So that's the idea behind Jungle. I'm actually building on the live entertainment industry of Pakistan. So I throw events. So I've created a platform every Friday. We have an open mic, and then so I became like a person who was like, you know, you take my voice, but I'll be sure to create an army of female comics, and that's what I did. I created 15 female comics in a span of 1 month. It was a
wow.
project funded by British Council, and it was led by this trainer in UK. We did the entire session over Zoom. We gave
Yeah.
the skill to women, and they performed in Napa in live, and they got paid for it. And I feel like that's a lot of success because 5, 6 of them are still performing regularly. So I feel like I
Mhm.
have contributed somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a, I mean, how many female comics would you say in Pakistan there are right now?
We hardly have some, and even the ones we have, they're not ready to put their stand-up comedy set online
Mm,
because you know how our masses are in stand-up comedy show. We know that a person has paid ticket, he knows what stand-up is about, so we're
mhm,
comfortable performing.
mhm.
But like, you know, they will all have these कि यार ये वाला part हटा देना या ना. Even when they're performing,
Right.
their set has been censored. Even at Wow Pakistan, they were performing there, and we were told not to have sexual content, not to abuse, not to talk about boobs. You know, so there's so
I'm
many
sorry,
restrictions.
where is this? Where is this? They told you not to do this?
This was Wow Pakistan. We were actually recording our set and sending it to them. So they had a problem with sexual content, and it was Wow Pakistan, which is Woman of the World.
Woman of the world, just put your titties away. We don't need to hear about your titties. Put them away.
Titties are even censored on Instagram.
Huh? Titties are inside. But you know what it is? I think, let's talk about the censoring part. So in America right now, we have this conversation happening among comedians in the comedy world. And I think in other, but mostly in stand-up comedy, we're talking about cancel culture. Cancel culture is a very big part of the conversation, which I'm sure you've heard of and heard that term before. I know that in Pakistani society, everything is censored to begin with. Like, nothing sexual, nothing provocative, because there's already so much crazy, fucked up shit that already goes down regularly. As artists, that's the only freedom, that's a freedom that we have to get up there and talk about the issues, to for people to be like, I feel your pain, I see what you see, right? And let me present it to you in a funny, comedic way, right?
Yeah.
I know that you had a situation, and that's how I discovered you. That there was an article written about you, that you made some jokes about being Sindhi, and that shit went viral. People were complaining, "How dare you made fun of Sindhis?" And you were like, "Fuck that!" You're like, "I am Sindhi." Like, by the way, for listeners who don't know what Sindhi is, Sindh is a province in Pakistan, and Karachi is a city in the province of Sindh. Now that we got the geography out of the way. What was the joke, Natalia, that got people so riled up?
I think it was the fact that I'm a woman and I came on stage and I said, I'm Sindhi and I'm hairy and I'm horny. They just heard horny.
Oh, wow. Wow. So,
And what's ironic is that they said that, how dare you call us horny? We will fucking rape you.
I'm sorry, that's
They were
so
sending me rape threats. And I'm like, exactly my point.
right. Horny doesn't mean you can get to rape me. Horny just means horny, just a human being. So, Natalia, let me ask you this: if Junaid Akram, who's a very established comic in Pakistan, was to go up on stage and be like, "I am whatever. I'm Punjabi. I'm Sindhi. I'm hairy and I'm horny," you think that would have been received a lot differently than what you did?
I can give you 3 examples for that. Ali Gulpir has an entire song of Vadere Ka Beta.
Okay,
ठीक है,
can you translate that?
Vadera is like a landlord of Sindh, and he's talking about his son, and in which there's a few words where he calls the dog the Vadera as well, dog the landlord as well. You know, in
Okay.
Sai he uses the word Sai, which is like a word, a title given to somebody in power and authority. He calls the dog that. He did not get a lot of shit like that, but I can say, chalo, theek hai, the Ghana was not that much of an attack on the Sindhi community. It only targeted the Vadera, which is like a privileged community. Fine.
Right.
Anwar Maksud did the same thing. He got a little heat for it, but nobody slut shamed for it, of course. Shehzad Gayas, a famous stand-up comedian, made jokes about Sindhis raping dolphins. That's why the dolphins are blind in Sindh.
Are they?
It was a joke. and they are. Nothing happened. So it was the fact that a woman was making these jokes.
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem. And I was being targeted because I was a woman and I was being slut shamed for it. I was getting hate post made with the pictures that I'm wearing sleeveless in, and they're like, "Look at this shameful woman." Nobody really criticized my art because I was open for a dialogue. The people who commented, who just had concerns about the content, I spoke to them nicely, and I told them my part of the story. I feel this way, like, no offense. But people who were just starting with the fact that they were slut shaming me and all kind of things were going around on the internet, I can't reason with that. I can't even pay attention. I just have
There's
to.
right, but that's also not a reasonable argument where somebody's coming on and making a rape threat to you. How do you argue? How do you have a discussion with someone like that? You can't.
No, you cannot. I just kept on deleting inbox and comments, and it at a point came where I was like, I cannot even read it anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. So I had to deactivate my accounts. So I was like, the only way to stop it is just deactivate all my accounts, and that's exactly what I did. And at that point, I even lost the people who were supporting me because, I didn't even wait for the support to arrive. There was a lot of support, but I didn't get to see it because
Natalia, did you have people threatening to come and hurt you and murder you and all that shit? And did people try to find out where you live? Like, was that a real threat for you, for your safety and your life?
I did leave the country for a bit. It was just my dad was in the US. He was like, just come here. Just come. You need the break. Then I went to Mexico. That entire episode wasn't that bad.
Well,
But
Mexico is not in the United States of America, so you said you would. Okay.
No, I went to the US and then I went for a
You
trip
went
to
to Mexico. Okay, got it.
which is 5 days. But the thing is that all this ended, things were better. And then there was this one person who had some personal beef against me. He started making multiple accounts and starting posting my pictures on like naked videos and bodies and making all kind of memes.
Oh
I
my
had
goodness.
FIA to report him. And I had a show that evening, and I went and I showed all those pictures to a 60-year-old uncle and saying that, uncle, can you report this person? This is an FIA, this happened, that happened. I had to bring all that evidence. And the evening I went to my show and I was like, I don't even think I can perform. But my fellow comedians were like, just say whatever you want. And I went up to the audience and I was like, I don't think I can continue comedy because I'm going through all this, and I just saw all that and that trauma, it's still with me. I kind of stopped performing. I would get anxious. I
Yeah.
stopped writing. It
Yeah.
took a while, but things are better now.
Well, I just want you to know, as your consider me your sister and supporter, that I am I'm in awe of you. I admire you. I have so much respect for you, and I you will be doing the world a disservice if you stop doing comedy. So we need you to keep doing comedy, Natalia.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of anger, but then I understood that, they haven't
Did you ever
seen
find
women.
did you ever find out who this asshole was?
I don't know, but all his accounts got deactivated. I do know his name, and I know that he is from my same village. He's from my village,
Wow. What village is this?
Gumbat.
Wow. So can you know what he looks like?
Um, I don't know. I have to dig him. That time I knew what he looks like because his profile was all over. We really found out who it was, person behind it. Actually, he was the one who started campaigning against me as well when I was getting commercials. Because he was supposed, so he was like a amateur comedian as well, and I think he had the beef that I am getting
Oh.
all. I mean, I'm getting brands. He started a campaign against me. Then he started with all these nasty pages.
Oh.
But I
There's a
don't
lot
know
of
where he
jealousy.
is.
There's jealousy happening.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was a personal desire or whatever you want to say. Because, trolls never do that much to you. They just shame you and just leave. This was like a personal beef.
What a piece of shit. Well, has he just stopped contacting
Yeah,
you and stopped doing this now?
that person has vanished. I don't know if it was FIA or that person realized. I don't know what happened. He's not there anymore.
I hope COVID came and got him. I really pray for
I
people like
do.
that.
I'm sure it's karma. Something
Yeah.
happened to him.
Yeah, I really hope COVID got him, and then I hope the black fungus got in his system too. Fuck that guy. I hate people like that. Natalia, when you guys perform together, the female comics, and you guys, is there what is that like? Is there we also have an issue here in America in the comedy world of harassment and sexual harassment that goes down from male comics to female comics. So when male comics is that a thing in Pakistan where there's a level of harassment?
Not really. The kind of audience that we attract for our shows is a padi likhi awam.
No, no, I'm talking about other male comics harassing female comics.
Male comics harassing female comics. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. That doesn't happen. I feel like we
Wow.
have a very supportive community.
Wow.
Um,
Very impressive. Very
we,
impressive.
I mean, even if I did hear something, but I felt like it was dealt with by other male comics and they took charge. So it doesn't. It's not a normal thing here.
Wow. That's very impressive.
I even heard that female comics in UK face harassment. That when they leave the show, they are being stalked, and I was like, it's all over the world. Then
That's right. That's right. In Australia, this female comic did a mic and left, and this guy murdered her. He followed her, murdered her, dumped her body in the river. Yeah, yeah. It was a case all over the place, all over the. Yeah, it was all over Australia. America, our comedy scene here, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad here with the sexual harassment. Do you ever get this thing in Pakistan where when a male comic brings you up on stage, he's like, the next female comic I'm about to bring up on stage, she's so hot. I've been trying to fuck her ever since I met her. Give it up for.
um, it's funny that you say that. I have a host for the comedy open mic, and he's always just saying things about this another female comic. I didn't want to, because it was my show. Even I was like, should I even react? But then I was like, you know what? It's comedy, and I'm here for comedy. As long as it's there are people who make anti-feminist jokes as well, and
Mhm.
I don't even censor that because again, it's like opinion and it's art. Okay, as long as it's not like there's a thin line between it. I allow it. But what I really admired is that female comics started having comebacks. So the audience would cheer for her more. So, that guy
Right.
stopped. That guy stopped because, he was like, every time I say something to her, she has a greater comeback. And I feel that is the battle that I want to fight. I don't want to stop it. I want this to be the humorous battle. Actually, it's funny that this co-trainer that I was working with, Natalie from UK, she's actually written a thesis about stand-up comedy is the fourth wave of feminism. because I feel like through comedy, we're actually talking about our real issues. And I feel like we never had this kind of platform. I mean, in movies, in books, in shows, there's always fiction, but you don't really often see real women talking about their stories in a comedic way. So I feel like
Yes.
that's powerful.
I agree with that. I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, look, we have a wave of female comics in America. Like that's it's pretty incredible. We don't have any established thisy female comics, and that's where I'm busting my ass to kind of make that mark for myself. But I've definitely gotten incredible amounts of breaks here. I got to
Amazing,
yeah. Well, I got to
by the
perform.
way.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. I got a chance to MC the Women's March in San Francisco and got to perform in front of 60,000 people. Like that's a massive that's a massive achievement. But America is still kind of dealing with how do we deal with an immigrant female comic who comes up there and talks about her life and talks about her upbringing and the cultural differences. So I think they're kind of coming terms with that. Are there certain topics, Natalia, in your shows that you do, or even other shows you've done, where they're just like, you can't talk about sex, you can't talk about kissing, you can't talk about dating, you can't talk about, politics? What goes down?
In corporate events, obviously, we cannot talk about religion, sexual content, and politics. These are the three things that we don't talk about.
Got it.
But when it's like my open mic, we allow all kind of content.
Sure.
And
Open mic. What about? I mean, you do the open mic. Do you also put on shows, or they're just open mics?
yes, so recently done a huge show. I don't know if you've heard about Tabish Hashmi. He's a stand-up comedian from Pakistan, moved to Canada, and since he moved, he became like this huge digital wave. Because of him, I feel like our future looks great.
Yeah.
Because brands are approaching
Is
him.
he very big? Is he big in the Pakistani communities in Canada? And okay, yeah, because I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Yeah. So, what was I saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
So because his comedy is catered to a certain crowd. It's catered to more
I
Pakistani.
feel like it's more because we do our comedy in Urdu. And I think हमारी वैसे भी then obviously our audience is limited. I feel like even when I upload a lot of videos on YouTube, I have Indian audience as well, which is surprising, and it's amazing to see that Indians are supporting my content when I talk about relationships. Pakistanis don't.
100%. Look, I got hired to perform with Ali Zafar. He was here, right? And turns out that Ali Zafar and I have the exact same date of birth. We have the exact same date of birth, which is crazy. So Ali Zafar goes up. So I go up, and it's an entire Pakistani crowd. But there's a table of Pakistani-looking people, but they're like cheering me on real hard, right? I'm cracking jokes, and the aunties are not having it. Okay, the aunties don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And and so the moment I mention Ali Zafar's name, they're like, oh my god, Ali Zafar, right? They're fucking going crazy. So they wouldn't pay attention to what I was saying. So I just turned to them. I'm like, aunties, Ali Zafar, huh? Aren't you excited about him? Yeah, Ali Zafar. They're like, oh my god, yeah, I can't wait. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, look at all the uncles. I was like, aunties look like there's a monsoon happening in their clothes. So aunties need to calm down, right? And so the aunties are like fucking grinning at me and shit. So finally, I'm just like, yo, fuck this. This is a fucking shitty ass crowd. Fuck you guys. I'm out. In the middle of my set, the host of the show walks up and she's like, hi, the crowd is really asking that Ali Zafar goes up before you. I'm like, are you for fucking real right now? In the middle of my goddamn set, Natalia. I'm like, you know what? Fuck y'all. Take the fucking mic. I'm out, right? And I leave. Yeah, and Ali Zafar comes on, right? And then Ali Zafar is like, wait a minute, you guys. Stand-up comedy is a fucking hard gig. Like, she was really funny and she was great. Like, give it up for Mona. Like, she was awesome. Like, why are you guys giving her a hard time? And then I was just like, yo, I don't even give a fuck. So when he does his thing and he leaves, then I get it back up on stage and I just start ripping the fucking audience apart. I'm like, fuck you, go fuck yourself, eat fucking dicks. I don't fucking care. I am just going fucking off on the crowd. And this one table is just applauding, laughing, cheering their asses off. Turns out they were Indian Muslims dressed up as Pakistanis cheering me on. Dude, my biggest fans are usually not Pakistanis. They're Indians. They're Indians and
Because
Americans.
Pakistani has haven't seen women doing comedy. I
That's
mean,
right.
the crowd reacts very differently to a female comic.
Yep.
By
Very.
the way, Ali Zafar is a harasser. He has a
I
current
know
case
he
going.
is. I know he is. I've heard his cases. But listen, nothing happens.
Aunties are of course gonna cheer him on.
And of course there, and nothing, and I think what fascinates me about him is that even the women who came out and accused him are being slut shamed. They're being shamed, and nothing happens to these guys, right? Ali Zafar is not going to lose job because he's a fucking predator. It's not
Yeah,
going to happen for him, right?
yeah.
I mean, how many women did he harass, by the way, or how many? What did he done? Did he rape women? What did he do?
No, he hasn't raped anyone. He has harassed Misha Shafi, who's a fellow musician.
Okay, like harass her, like what? Tell her like he wants to fuck her, like what?
Yeah, he has been like inappropriately behaving with her, and she kept on warning him, and that didn't happen. So she went out, and she went out public way after that happened. She came out later.
Yeah. Natalia, do you feel like the Pakistani audience is getting more accepting and embracing of female comics and what you guys have to say?
Yeah, I think it's only going to happen when we have more female comics. It's when they see more of them, is when they witness it all, and that's the only way to them absorb and accept us.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to make more female comics.
Right. We just but also, I mean, besides your open mics, and of course in corporate gigs you can, but when you do other shows, when you guys have your all female shows with, with sorry, what is that? Huh? With Faiza, yeah. Faiza Salim's. Do you guys just talk about anything? Is there no restriction? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, in our own shows we don't have restrictions, but even for stand-up comedy, we have different kind of shows. If it's dirty comedy, we label it so people know that
What
it's a
do you
dirty
do?
comedy.
Dirty
show.
It's a rated R. What do you do?
Yes, it's a rated R. It's called the Dirty Comedy Show. And what's surprising is that one time I saw like women in abaya, like in a abaya burqa, come to our show. It was cute. I was like, I think that's how they kind of went out their frustration or something. Even by just hearing some dirty jokes.
Did they? Could you tell they could laugh? I mean, they're covered.
Nah, I didn't notice. But there was this one time. I'm gonna be. So this one time, we had like 4 Maulvi looking people walk in our show, and they all had backpacks. And I was like, I think we're going down. So I went up on stage and I was like, I'm really sorry, but are you 4 really here for the show? What's in your backpack? They're like, no, we're really here for the show. And I was like, wow. I'm like, we couldn't check their bags, but I think we should start doing it now.
That's correct. I mean,
But
that's
they
pretty
were
scary,
having
though,
fun.
Natalia. Yeah,
Those guys were having fun.
they were having fun. Okay, and they were dressed up in like conservative, like mullah outfit.
Yes, and they had like beard going on and a backpack, and like, you know how it is, takhno se upar, like the shalwar above their ankle and everything going on.
Yes.
Sunni way of wearing it.
You know, Natalia, I feel like as conservative as Pakistani society can be, I have a lot of Iranian friends. There's a big Persian population in Los Angeles, massive, right? Big Iranian population. So I have a lot of Iranian friends. And we were talking. So one of them is a stand-up comic. She's like my baby sister here. And we were talking, and she goes to me, hey, they're opening up a comedy club in Tehran. And they're like, they're a big fan of yours, Mona, and they want to bring you on to interview you, for the comedy club and stuff. I was like, okay. They're like, but you have to wear the scarf. Because in Iran, a woman cannot step outside of the house if her hair is exposed.
Wow.
The moral police will come and get you. Like, the morality police will come and get you, throw you in prison. So I feel like in that sense, Pakistan is way better in that sense. We don't have a Khomeini government. We don't have this ultra conservative, crazy Muslim, government that's going to be like, oh, Natalia, you can't go out. You can't, By the way, they don't even allow music. Women cannot play music on camera. That is not allowed. Women cannot go up on stage and do comedy. That's not allowed. You have to be fully covered if you even talk about. I mean, it's hardcore in Iran. Hardcore. So do you feel like, I mean, with the current government, I mean, isn't Imran Khan's wife wear a full blown burqa?
Yeah, yeah, she does, but we don't have such restrictions. We're not like that of an Islamist state anymore, I
That's
feel.
yeah,
It was during Ziaul Haq that
yeah,
even youth pastors were supposed to cover their heads.
that's correct. I remember that. I was there when Zalhab died. I was there. Yeah, absolutely. No, no, I remember that. I mean, what? But you know, can you have you guys had like broadcasted comedy shows on air in like all these major networks in ARY and all those channels you guys have or no?
No, no, no. I don't think we've made it that far. And another thing is that there are a lot of restrictions when it comes to these channels. You know, the kind of things that we want to talk about, they're not going to air it because you see the kind of content they make, the kind of
Yeah,
dramas they make, the
yeah,
kind of audience they have. They don't want to hear what we have to say, what our women issues are, or, how woke we are.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like digital is the platform we don't need. TVs are obsolete right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so digitalized, and we have a lot of voice. We're not getting censored. I feel like we have had shows on YouTube which are uncensored when talking about everything. So I feel like we can talk about these things on digital compared
Yeah.
to TV.
I mean, don't you feel that it would give you guys more maybe weight, perhaps, that if a
Yeah,
major network comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? I want to showcase this incredible talent over here."
that would look. I mean, that would give us the audience, which is like the masses, because masses is what makes you and breaks you, and they are watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but unfortunately, the kind of content that TV wants to create is something that it never works out. A lot of people have contacted us, different channels, that we want to do like something like SNL, we want to do this. It
Yeah.
somehow never works out. It just doesn't.
Well, it doesn't work out because they have a lot of restrictions.
And even how the TV operates, the production houses, how the channels operate, it's a, it's. I'm not really happy with TV industry of Pakistan. I've had like really bad experiences in terms of money, in terms of professionalism. I hate it. Like I
Yeah.
never say that. When I'm on shoots, I hate my time there. They make you wait so much, and the way they treat young artists is, it's just. I'm still part of this show on Express where I'm doing like character in every episode with it's with SN Khan. It's they've had a lot of budget in it, but
Yeah.
they've never worked on the content, which is so important. So it's just I hate my time. I shouldn't be saying this here, but I really want to quit.
I doubt it if they're gonna listen to this, so don't worry
Yeah,
about it. You
I
can
hope
talk
they do.
shit. Huh? I mean, also so when I go on sets here, when I do shows, like like I was on two major TV shows, one for ABC and one for Apple TV that's coming out soon. There's a lot
Nice.
of waiting. That's just kind of is part of the game. They just because they have to shift, they have to set the stage up and the mics and all that. And when they're ready, they're like ready on the set, and then they bring you on, wire you up, and then you do your thing. But as far as the money aspect goes, I think in America we have SAG-AFTRA, which is the unions that we have for television and for film. Do you guys have unions or stuff like that in Pakistan?
We don't. I think we do have one union which is actually held by the most powerful people in the TV industry and actors, but I don't think that they're effectively working on it, or they have created these laws. Recently, they started with this movement that they need artist royalties because we don't have that in Pakistan. So there was a petition signed, and artists were voicing the concerns, but I don't think anything happened because we don't have a union. A lot of artists do not want to speak about their issues because they get banned from these production houses. So nobody wants to really talk about it. There's so many payments that are stuck. And this happens to big artists as well. I'm not just saying that it happens to new artists. I'm sure that extras never get paid at all. So there's so many people involved, and it's just all this corruption. I just don't like it.
Right.
Just
I mean, I would think that these channels make money. It's not like they don't make money. That's how they stay in business. But then
yeah.
they cheat the artists.
They do cheat artists. I don't feel like when they give us the contract, so we don't have a lot of way uh, for an artist to sign that contract. We do it because for me, I just do it because I love to act, I love to perform.
Yeah.
Otherwise, And I'm not really dependent on it money wise, but a lot of these artists, it's their basic job, it's how they earn.
That's right.
So for them, they just have to take the risk and they just have to bear all that.
Right, right. I mean, I mean that's it's so sad. You know, when I look at like these big actresses like Mavish Hayat is her name, Mavish Hayat, and Maida Khan is that another
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
right? So how do they get paid? I mean, they look like they make money.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, when you reach a certain status, then obviously the ball's in your court. But to reach that, you have go through so much. Some people continue, some people don't. I mean,
Is there a casting couch thing going on?
I'm pretty sure there is. I haven't experienced it, obviously, so I can't really say or
Mhm,
comment on it. But I'm sure there are. And
mhm.
it's so sad that people like Mevish Hayat, who have worked and worked so much on their faces as well as on on themselves, when they receive an award, they're told that they slept their way through it. We don't hear that about a guy, right? So
That's
it's so
right.
sad that, I
That's
mean, however big you get, you don't get a respect because you're an artist after all. So to get that accepted in the society, we're called the Kanjars, we call the Mirasis.
Tell people what that means.
How do I even tell some? How do you translate a Kanjar?
Kanjar is, I would say, somebody who's, low class, somebody déclassé, somebody who is
It's a
ignorant.
derogatory term used for artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For artists, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, yeah. If you're an artist, your family or whoever is going to call you Kanjar. It's a derogatory term used for artist.
I did not know that. I thought Kanjar was just a term you use for somebody who was déclassé, somebody uneducated, unrefined, who's an idiot.
I mean, Kanjar is used and abused as well, but I feel like it's more used for artists as well. To Kanjar hai, if you're doing all this, or to Mirasi. Mirasi is actually pretty much used for artist. And
Miras, what does that mean?
Miras in real actually means that something that you inherit and which is a talent.
Mm.
But they use Mirasi in a wrong connotation. They use it uh, to shame you. They don't mean good when they say it.
When the Mirasi meaning there's something wrong with you?
No, it's only used for artists. That how do I even explain this? I'm gonna look it up and send it to you so you can share with the audience.
Mirasi. Okay, okay. I'm gonna keep that word in mind and ask other. I'm gonna ask my mom. Mom, what does Marasi mean? Tell me in English. What does it mean?
Actually, that's what my khala even said. She asked me, she calls me and she's like taking update on things, and I tell her about my company Jungle. I'm like,
Your aunt. Yeah, yeah, your aunt. You.
my aunt.
Yeah.
I'm like, auntie, I'm doing this. I throw events. It's for artists. People come. It's like a networking space. And I'm just giving her this entire pitch, right, about my company. In the end, she's like, chup kar. Kanjar khana hai ye."
All right, let's do some translation for our American friends. That means your aunt said, "Shut up," and what did she say?
A brothel. I don't know. This is a brothel that you're running. Kanjar khana is probably that, right?
Right, that's like the intent of saying that
Because
it's a
there's dancing
brothel.
happening, there's singing happening, people are partying. This is definitely a brothel.
And it's funny because that's not what happens in brothels. There's just a lot of fucking going on in brothels. There's no fucking happening at the jungle, like zero fucking.
I mean, that's what you think it is, right? It's called the jungle. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. I mean, I'll tell you what my goal actually was behind the jungle. Initially, I started with only throwing parties. I just wanted Pakistanis to get laid. That was my
Yeah.
goal.
Yes, yes. That is a
Yeah,
great goal, Natalia.
right?
Listen, people should get laid and just not make any more children because the country is horribly overpopulated.
I mean, the world is ending. Who wants to bring a child into this world right now?
I don't, Natalia. I have no intentions. Do you want to have kids?
I got an IUD. I am not having kids.
Yes, Natalia. Reason 909.99 to love Natalia Gul. Are you kidding me? Dude, I have no desire to have children. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not fucking having kids. No desire. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Good for you. Is that more and more young people realizing in Pakistan where they're just like, dude, the world's ending. This shit sucks. Why am I gonna have a child? Or people are continuing to have more kids?
I mean, I don't think a lot of people think this way. But definitely more women do not want to have kids anymore. Just say initially when we were married, we were told that as soon as you get married on your wedding night, you must conceive. So in 9 months you have a baby ready, but not anymore. It's the aunties always asking you, do you have good news? My mother-in-law asked me the second day of my marriage. I went down to get eggs, and she's like, "When are you having an egg?" And I'm like, "What? When are you
Well,
popping
I
an
have eggs. They're not fertilizing. That's all.
like, what happened? And the craziest thing is that she's like, I've already thought of the name. He's gonna be called Qaid Azam. And my husband's name is Muhammad Ali. So she
Oh my
just
god.
wanted him to be called Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali.
Oh my god. What does your husband do? Is he an entertainer too?
He's actually a filmmaker.
Oh, very cool. Well, and he makes like TV stuff, like movies. What does he do?
So he's a documentary filmmaker. Is actually an Emmy Award winner.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I have to. What's his movie?
It's called Outlawed in Pakistan. It's actually it's a documentary on a rape victim.
Wow. Wow.
Rape survivor. I haven't actually watched it because this topic is really sensitive to me, and if he's got an award, as I'm like, I'm not ready yet. One day I will. We will have a premiere. But
Wow.
currently he's working for Habib University, and he's just trying to connect filmmakers with mentors, and doing all kind of filmmaking shit.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you guys are both. So, do you guys now live in your own house, or did you move in with his parents' house?
So it's just his mom here. He has a sister, but she's immigrated to Canada. So it's
Okay.
just we are in the upper portion, and the mother-in-law, she can't even climb stairs, so she stays.
She stays downstairs.
She stays down there. But relationship is really good. She's really cute. She's religious,
Yeah.
and she has her own views, and we love it.
She sounds like a sweetheart, though. She doesn't sound like somebody who's like overpowering. So she sounds like that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's-
she's really sweet. All three of us are Pisces.
Oh, I love Pisces. They're the best. Pisces are the best. Sensitive, caring souls. It's great.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Taurus.
I can see that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, are you now working on like a stand-up special or something, or what are you working on?
Currently I'm working on a script. Actually, we're trying to. I don't know if you know. I mean, of course, you know that I'm a writer as well because I write stand-up comedy.
Sure.
So me and my husband, we're trying to create a story that we're trying to pitch to Goethe, actually, which is a German consulate in Pakistan, is actually looking for writers. They're going to mentor us, get a writer's room, and then they're going to give us this opportunity to pitch our story to German producers. So we're actually working on a script right now.
That's wonderful. And what is the script about?
Okay, so we only have 2 days to submit synopsis and the one-liner premise. So just today, I came up with this thing that so I'm so lost right now, and it's actually 1 a.m. Mona.
I know, and I'm gonna wrap up in like literally 1 minute with you.
Okay, so it's just like a heroic journey of this. I'll tell you later. I don't want to ruin it right now by not
You
giving
don't even
you.
have to tell me the story. I mean, is it a TV? Is it film? What is it?
It's a series. It's going to turn into a series. Okay, Lela wants to give justice to people, but she cannot because she's talking. Fuck it. I'll tell you later.
That's totally fine. It's totally fine. Natalia, this has been such a great, fun conversation. I learned a lot. So thank you very much for taking the time to stay up till 1 a.m. and do this. Where can people follow you if they want to follow you?
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's always great talking to you, and you're
Thank
so
you,
vibrant. I love your energy, and I'm so proud that you're a fellow Pakistani woman doing so much for us. I mean, even giving us this platform means that you really want to build on getting more female Pakistani comics. Otherwise, people don't really do that.
Yes.
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Natalia Gul. On Facebook, it's Natalia Gul Jalani. On YouTube, it's Natalia Gul. That's it. That's about it.
Natalia Gul. And do you have a why can people go and do you do like live stream any of your mics or anything like that online where people can watch it?
We don't really do that, but I'm thinking since there's a lockdown, we'll have some Zoom shows, but they're in Urdu. We will try have a global audience. Of course, we will try to perform in English for you, so we can make that happen. By the way, we can get more comics. Yeah, for sure. And we can get more female comics to do a show for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would totally love to do that. That sounds really wonderful. And I'd be totally
definitely do that. Let's do it.
I'm totally down to do that. Natalia, this has been a pleasure. We'll bring you back on again soon, but this was a great conversation. So thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, guys.
Now go to sleep. Go to bed. Bye. That was my lovely friend Natalia Gul. I had such a great conversation with her. I am so glad that I could chat with her. You guys, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. You can go to youtube.com/Mona Sheikh Comedian. I am also of the same name on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at Mona's Comedy. That is about it for me. You guys, I will be back with a brand new guest. Have a lovely day because we're doing this earlier in the day. And I will see you guys soon.